All right, so now I'm going to show you how to do the Raglan increases. What we did was we put markers in on each side of one stitch. And that one stitch in the middle is called the Raglan stitch. That gives you the stitch that you're doing all the increases against for the remainder of the yoke of your sweater. I'll show you why, but I'm going to take out the second marker. To me, it's redundant. You don't need it, but you can keep it in if you want to. Like I said, markers are very helpful, but they're fiddly. All right, so I'm going to come up to this first marker. So I'm going to knit till I get to my first marker. And the way the increases are is you do a right leaning increase and then you do a left leaning increase. The reason we're doing that is it's just one of those little finesse steps. You're going to have this in the middle and you're going to do an increase facing this way on this side of the stitch, this way on this side of the stitch as it's increasing. And it's just a nice little look. If you did a different increase and you did like knit, pick up the loop in between and knit them like we did on the other one, on the yoke, you could do that. But this just gives it a nicer look. It's just the difference between a sweater that looks well made and a sweater that looks homemade, if you know what I mean. All right, so the right leaning increase, you take your left needle and you put it from the back to the front in that loop. So your left needle goes underneath the loop between the stitches, that ladder, and picks it up. And then you just knit this as you normally would. Now they say knit as you normally would, but it's easier said than done because what's happening is you're pulling this, which is making this loop tight, at the same time you're trying to get the needle in there. So it's counterproductive. So when I do this, I put my finger here, my left index finger against the needle in the loop so that it's looser. And then I can more easily get that needle in that loop and knit it. But by doing it that way, you put a twist in the loop that you picked up so you don't have a hole in your work. So that's the right increase. Then I knit the raglan stitch. And when I knit the raglan stitch, I give it a little bit of a tug because I want to make sure I'm tightening up that loop in there. So to do the left increase, you're going to go from front to back and then knit through the back loop. So I'm taking that marker out because honestly I don't need it. So I'm going to go with my left hand needle from front to back and then I'm going to knit in the back loop. Now this is very much like what we were doing with the yoke, and remember how I said it's sometimes difficult to get in the back of that stitch, that loop, without splitting it. So if I need to, I will put the needle in the front, wrap it around, and then knit it like that. And there, if you looked real carefully at this, you can kind of see how this stitch is leaning to the right and this stitch is leaning to the left. All right, so let me go to the next one and I'll show you this again. So I'm going to knit now across my sleeve till I get to the next set of markers. So here I am knitting happily away, la-di-da. You can fast forward through this, obviously. All right, now I come to my first marker. Now the way I remember which one is the right leaning and which one is the left leaning is for the right leaning, you go from, the left needle goes from the back to the front. So I just remember I'll be right back because right goes through the back. So I'll be right back means it's the right leaning, so I'm going to go through the back. I go through the back and then I want to knit this the normal way. So I'm going to just kind of move that loop. See how I'm just using my left index finger and I'm loosening that loop up so I can easily get my needle down in there and then knit that. All right, let me put my marker back there so I don't lose track of where I'm at. actually want the marker to be on this side of that increase. And then I'm going to knit. Then I'm going to do my left, which means the left needle is going in the front. And then I'm going to do my little wiggle around so I can knit that without it being a pain. And there it is. Now I make sure when I'm doing this that I keep my marker right next to that raglan stitch. So if you look at what I'm doing here, I didn't do that with the first one, so let me fix that. There we go. So when you look at this, I've got my right leaning, my raglan stitch, my left leaning. Over here, I've got my right leaning, the raglan stitch, and the left leaning. Now I'm just going to do I'm going to knit around and come to this again, and I'll do another increase so you can see how it looks. I'll be right back when I get that done. All right, so I knit around and I'm back to where I need to do my increases again. And I only have the one marker in here, and the marker is right next to my raglan stitch. So I'm going to come up to my first increase and I'm going to knit until I hit the marker. And I'm going to do the right increase, which means I'm going to take my left needle and I'm going to go from the back to the front. Then I'm going to kind of hold it a little loose and knit it. Slip my marker, knit the raglan stitch, and now do the left leaning increase where I'm going to take the left needle and go from the front to the back. And then I'm going to knit in the back of that stitch. And then I'll knit across till I come to my next marker. And I'll do that again. All right, so now here is my marker. I'm going to knit till I'm right at the marker. Then I'm going to go my right leaning increase. So I'm going to take the needle and I'm going right in this, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going in the loop that's between the two stitches, that ladder. So I'm taking the needle and going from the back to the front. I'm going to scooch that thread so it's a little loose. So I can just knit that. Yeah. And see, now when I do this, when I come up here to finish the stitch, excuse me. Sorry about that. When I come up here to finish the stitch, I'm just going to catch my marker and just move it all in one fell swoop. Then I'm going to knit my raglan stitch. Now I'm doing the left leaning, which means I'm going in the front. I'm going to wiggle around and knit that, and then I'll knit around. Now for the increases, you do an increase round and then just a plain knit round as you're going along. And what you end up with then, let's see if we can see it now. So if I take my marker out, I don't know if you can, how clearly you can see it on this yet, since I've only done 2 of the increases, but when I take my marker out, you can see here's my raglan stitch that's straight, and then on either side of it is where the increases are happening. So you'll as you build up and do more and more increases, you'll see that a whole lot better. But those are the increases, and then once you get done with your raglan increases, then that's where we'll pick up on our next class. All right, enjoy. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you've got any questions or any issues at all. I'm here to help with whatever you need.